Hi friends. Today we're doing a 6-month roundup and I know it's July, I'm a little late. I like to film these videos just to cover what I've purchased since January in preparation for my end of year favorites that I'll upload probably in December. And to get a handle of what I purchased, what I like, what I love, and by no means, this is important, if I don't mention a product that you've seen in one of my videos that you can go back in my library from when I've uploaded since January that I like, that is a fave, this is like the top tier faves out of the faves. The standout makeup items that I've used extensively that just created a special place in my collection. And I'll mention others again for perspective because I'm sure you'll wonder, well, what about this? What about that? Again, they're favorites, but these are the favorites of the favorites. And allow me to just peruse my own video library because I am relying on this to keep track of my list, if you will, to make sure I don't forget anything because I most certainly would. That would be me. We'll start with January and what I think is one of the, if not the, most outstanding lip product, and you probably know what it is. I have it on right now. That released this year, and I remember specifically because Bay purchased all the shades from the Suqqu Spring Color Collection of 2024, their new formula, the Moisture Glaze lipstick. When I first saw the sneak peeks on Suqqu official's page, because that is the Japanese brand page, usually they'll show earlier the releases and then Suqqu Europe will show thereafter. When I saw this lipstick, the photos, how the lipstick appeared when applied, the shades, it was one of those things where, because usually I see something, I'm like, I don't know about that, and I'm not too about lip products to begin with. They're usually not makeup items that I buy a lot of just because of the shelf life. It's more emollient, it got the butters and the oils in there. Naturally, it will have a much shorter shelf life than something that's like a powder, for instance. When I saw the Moisture Glaze, that all went out the window. I had to have this lipstick because for me, I love to wear lipstick, but sometimes I want something that's from the hybrid balm category that's giving me color, a little more than a tint, also giving me shine, but conditioning benefits as well. That is what the Moisture Glaze does. It's going to give you tint, but a little more than what a tinted balm would. It's going to give shine, but not overly glossy. It has slip. It has just that conditioning feel, that softening feel about it. There is no, absolutely zero. This is from someone who is ultra sensitive about anything taste, fragrance when it comes to makeup products. I promise you, okay? And maybe this is just me because everyone's different, but from all the lip products that I've tried, maybe with the exception of the Hourglass Soft Matte, the Unlock Soft Matte, that doesn't have any taste. This has zero weird taste. There's not even a product taste to this Moisture Glaze lipstick. No smell, so it's not like you'll be munching on flowers, okay? This is an exceptional product, and actually, this particular shade is from the Autumn Winter 2024 collection that Suqqu Europe was kind enough to send me in advance. That collection's dropping on July 25th, so we got some time. That video will be up well before that date. I have all the shades that released in January. I picked up the 2 shades from the pre-summer collection. There wasn't a Moisture Glaze product for Touch of Nectar. It was the 2 lip wrapping treatments, but there are 3 that are releasing in autumn winter. I have one of them. 2 are permanent. 1 is limited edition. My apologies. This is in number 11, Urumicha, the Milk Brown. Milk Brown? Are you kidding me? I had to have it. So we got Milk Brown on the lips today, but this, again, formula released back in January, stand out out of all the lip products that I use. And yes, I'll mention the Prada lip balm 100%. The Prada Natural Lip Enhancing Tint because the Universal Balm released, I believe, last year, which is just like a clear color. A few months ago, they released 4 shades. 1 was like a pH changing type of a gig, and the 3 were the lip but better shades. I adore the consistency. I adore the shades. I hate that it tastes like flowers. But again, when I filmed that video with the balms, I forgave it. Since the balm itself is exceptional, the texture is smooth, it's silky, it leaves my lips feeling soft when it wears, and the colors are just extraordinary. Definitely nailing my lips, but better shades, from like a little deep from the maple shade, and then you got like the perfect pink hue shade, and the guava's giving you a little more pink coral in the vibrancy category of things. But the moisture glaze, so many different shades, from the muted reds to the mauve browns to those springy pinks. I can pick any one and they all look great. They all look great, and I've been wearing these non-stop. They are my go-to lip product. I have my other favorites. Again, as I said at the beginning of the video, I have my other favorites. This is, in my opinion, from all the lipstick products I tried, I know there have been several more that released since January, right? I think about our girl Lexi John. Lexi is just wonderful in covering each and every nook and cranny about the luxury beauty space. If you want to find out more lipstick favorites from Lexi, I would highly recommend that you visit her channel. From all the lipsticks that I've tried, my beginner lipstick perspective is saying that by far the Suqqu Moisture Glaze lipstick, top notch for 2024, and it's gonna win again unless something blows me out of the water from here on out. Is going to be on top for December as well. Brushes, well, we have several brush favorites, okay? We got, well, let me start with this set. Sonia's Keyaki Kakishibu set that released, I believe, in February. She also released her Sunset Crane set, recently the Maquillate Summer Koi set, which also had the Kakishibu dyed Psycho goat bristles. For me, however, this set was the ultimate luxe workhorse eyeshadow brush set. This was my brush set of choice when traveling, when I went specifically to Maddie's house. And every time I used these brushes, I mean, it was just laughable. It didn't matter which eyeshadow I use, from what brand, what texture, what formula, what finish. It didn't matter, because these brushes picked up, laid down, blended, diffused each and every one of them with ease. And that is something that I put my full trust in Sonia for. Whatever Sonia creates is with a clear objective in mind, in terms of the outcome she would like to achieve, but also what she thinks we would like to achieve with our eye looks and our eye makeup. And each and every brush just has a standout role, and I can use each and every one of them successfully. And today, because you know what the eyeshadow palette is, but we'll get there when we get there. This brush set, I feel, is one of her best out of all the brush sets she has thus released. Everything from the Keyaki wood, the silhouette of the handle, again, the Kakishibu dyed bristles, aesthetically wonderful, but in terms of their function, unparalleled, okay? And allow me also to speak about Bobo Do, who finally I was able to connect with. Thank you to Shara, one of my brush bae friends on the internet, finally connected us, and Bobo was just generously kind to send me some of her brushes. And I could do a whole Bobo Do video, which I have two already if you want to check those out. But my standout favorite has to be, without a doubt, the owl, the Maquillate Owl, Psycho and Gray Squirrel powder brush, as well as her newer Silver Fox and Psycho Goat Hair. Both of them are wonderful. This guy, however, everything from the owl design, the brush mix, the size, and also the shape, the taper just makes it ultra versatile, especially for bronzer, to have that more enveloped casing of color on your complexion. It appears blown out, but still soft and just hazy, because I like that hazy effect when it comes to bronze. In me trying to replicate a natural suntan without the sun damage. I had demoed this brush with Mother's Divine Bronzer Powder, and my goodness, what an exceptional blend and application. And again, you'll see more brushes and more detailed footage using each in my Bobo Do videos, but I had to mention her and her brushes because I think they are unique. And between her and Sonia this year, I always look forward to applying my makeup, even if it's for a video, if it's for going somewhere. I just know how everything's gonna turn out because I'm using the best tools. And I'll end this brush segment because I know I gotta wrap it up, I'm yapping, with the Rephr Synthetic line. So they have released their first prototypes a few months ago, and I was like, okay, we're getting there. They made iterations based on our feedback and released the synthetic brushes again with new sizes. My apologies. Where is the concealer brush? More slanted, wider brush head with the gray black gradient bristles. This brush gets my foundation on and any other product from the cream category that I decide to use this with on lightning fast. And it also just blends the product beautifully into the skin where it appears polished and there's no texture left behind. It's a smooth application. I applied actually the Haus Labs because as much as I love this tint from Lisa, it's on the list, I'll get to her in a minute, because I'm getting a little bit of a tan or so much, my body is looking a little more golden than my face. I didn't want my face to appear as light compared to the rest of my body. Therefore, I mixed the tint with the Haus Labs Skin Tech, which still to this day, I think an exceptional foundation product. One of my favorites still. The color match, this is 330 medium, perfect for my summer complexion. And the reason why I like to mix it with the skin tint is because I adore the fluidity and the consistency of this product, and I feel it adds a silkiness and fluidity to other foundation products that I have in my collection, which lends to just an overall smoother blend. Back to the Rephr brushes, I use this guy to blend in that concoction, as well as a few other products that are on this favorite list. I think they did a fantastic job in making these changes. And let me know if you purchased these guys and how you've been using them. Have you been liking them, or you think they need some work? Please let me know down below. And also the concealer brush has been my go-to in blending out my Natasha Denona concealer under the eyes if I'm not using my fingers, because as of late I've been combining the skin tint with the Natasha Denona concealer, tapped it out under my eyes, and everything looks smooth and even. But if I want a little more pigment, a little more coverage, I then rely on the brush. And I think it's a unique size in that, yes, we've seen the slant before, but I like the more narrow width and the fact that it's longer here on the tip. It just has really nice surface area contact, great pickup of product, but it blends it evenly and leaves behind moderate coverage, and you can build it up as well if you want more. And the Natasha Denona concealer, although did not release in 2024, I bought it this year, finally. I adore it. It's the concealer I've been using. I've been mixing and matching because R5 is a little light solo for under eyes. I mix it with NP10, and that is a great combination for under eyes, or I'll mix it with a little bit of the Lisa Eldridge tint, in this case the Skin Tech from Haus Labs. And up next we have the ESUM Harmony palette. Now, disclaimer, I did film a sponsored video and worked with ESUM in presenting this palette, but the reason why I have it on this list is because when playing with it, experimenting with it, this is the palette that jump-started, or it was the impetus for me to be more daring with my blush application. As of late, I've been applying my blush not only on the cheek area, but more around the temple area and into the eyes. I understand that's not a new technique for this year, as I've seen it circulating last year, and I can't remember if in 2022 as well, but I've seen that technique in action. And when I had my hands on this palette, I was driven to experiment with that technique more and just love the looks that I created. And thereafter, whatever blush product I got my hands on, I applied it in the same fashion. Higher around the cheekbones, into the eyes, draping it down, using a lighter color here on the apples of the cheeks, a deeper color here on the hollows, so it can appear like that blushed out boutique flower gradient on my face. And I have to hand it to ESUM because these powders are exceptional. Although they're matte, they are smooth, they're not dry on the skin, they blend easily, and it is a pigment palette, meaning you can use this on eyes and cheeks, and the colors themselves, I mean, look, you can see the video, and I have a bunch of footage me using all the shades in the palette in a variety of ways, but this definitely drove me to be more experimental with my blush application. And why I have to mention Danessa's Blooming Romance from her Groundwork series. I do have her original Groundwork. Again, did not release in 2024, but I finally purchased it this year, or rather, excuse me, I had requested it from Beautylish when filming and preparing my Beautylish gift card event video. Finally grabbed Groundworks, loved it. But when I saw the sneaks for Blooming Romance, it was a given. I had to purchase this palette, and in the same fashion as I described when using ESUM's Harmony palette, this one no different. You have the Velvet Pomades, which is a unique formula from the Danessa Myricks beauty line. It's not a cream, it's not a powder, it's a hybrid, but easy to blend and also easy to manipulate whether you want to apply this on cheeks or eyes, coupled with the Shape and Fix powders that have a little more pigment where you can shift the color of the Velvet Pomades, enhance the color or even the staying power of the pomades. I applied as many shades as possible on my cheeks and eyes, creating that floral gradient of color, a little more light pink here or even more lilac, because here we got the lilacs in the Blooming Romance palette, center of the face, and then the more wine berry colors, hot. You see what I mean? So much fun. And just to be more experimental with where I place the Velvet Pomades, for instance, when I saw Danessa use this light pink powder under the eyes, I thought that was genius, just to have a little more brightening, not that it will appear literal pink under the eyes, but just that tone is brightening to the under eyes, but then works well with any other of the pink shades you decide to apply, maybe closer to your lower lash line. It just creates more of that like fairy type of a goddess look that I loved to play with. And with these shades, you can't, I mean, Dreamy, come on, it's so easy. And yes, it's lightweight, but that's the point. That's the point with these textures, because she had mentioned about Danessa, I'm speaking about Danessa's original Groundworks palette. She wanted to create a texture that was easy to use, especially for beginners. And yes, for makeup professionals, because they already know what to do. But for the makeup beginner that was still intimidated by applying eye makeup especially, which is why she created the Groundworks palette. But the Velvet Pomade, despite people's issues with the texture, I get it. It's more so just finding the right tool to work with this texture, because I think it's great. I think it has a lower learning curve than a powder because it is so light. So the intimidation factor is not as high, and you can build up the intensity to your liking. I think it's more so finding the right tool that's going to pick up ample product and blend it successfully on the skin. Then we had the Sephora Spring Savings event in April. That was a big purchase for me. One of the bigger purchases of this year. Listen, where's the other one? Let me get her in here. Okay. The Dior face products. Now, they came out with the bronzers as well. I believe it was like a whole thing with the star filters, the glow maximizers, and the bronzers with like the pink strip in there. I didn't buy those because enough is enough. But the star filter, the range of shades, just magnificent. The range of shades in the glow maximizer. I have Rosy here tapped on the cheeks, as well as, what bronzer did I use? Oh, I use the pre-summer Suqqu blush in 149. It's like a bronzy type of a shade, but I thought it would pair nicely with the eyeshadow palette I decided to use for this video. Paired with the rosy color, it wasn't too much. Yes, I could have used the bronzing serums, 100%. the Makeup by Mario, and the Say. These are wonderful. On this list, I'll get to those in a minute. The Glow Maximizers from Dior, they're so good it's stupid. It's stupid because something with a high pearl finish, such as these products, people tend to shy away from because yes, when you have this type of a finish, it can enhance texture. I don't know what they put in this formula, but it just leaves behind that soft diffused effect on the skin, and the colors themselves, like this rosy pink color, is soft enough where you can apply it on the center of your face if you wanted a little more color there. I didn't want to apply a dedicated blush on the center of my face today. I wanted more of like a blush highlight, a blush light, if you will, and that's what the Glow Maximizer does. You could also use it as a highlighter, as there are other shades in the lineup that are more champagne-y gold, that are more like pale gold. They have like the more pearl silvery texture. Listen, if it was up to me, I would have all of these suckers, but I decided to hey, keep it together. Purchased Rosy and Peachy. I almost got the bronzy one because it was more of like a rose bronze, and I thought it would have been exceptional if paired with the liquid bronzers that I just showed, but lower on the cheeks. And because it wasn't such a brownie bronze, which I don't have a problem with that either, the more rosy tone I thought would have just looked wonderful in that it gave more of like that terracotta heat effect. Listen, if there's a sale coming up, whatever sale that arises, and that maximizer is a part of it, I might just buy bronze, okay? Because I've just still been thinking about it. And the star filter can be mixed with foundation or applied as a liquid highlight, which is what I've been mainly doing and relying on it for. Not so much as all over glow, but more so setting up any highlight product I wish to apply on my cheekbones. The way it embraces my cheekbone and sets up any type of highlighter I decide to apply on top. What a fantastic liquid highlighter. And yes, I do have the Auric. Interesting, I think the Auric doesn't have the same amount of pearl, and I rather use the Auric all over than I would use the Dior filter. I think the Dior filter, in my opinion and for my makeup routine, is more appropriate for cheekbone highlight and just setting up any other highlight product you wish to apply there. Whereas the Auric, I think I prefer as a mixer, 100%. It has more diffusing, not as much pearl, in my opinion. And also, I do like the color. I have a bunch of different Auric shades that I really should be using, because you can apply the Forever Glow all over on its own, meaning you can apply this with your favorite moisturizer or your favorite tint. Ooh, maybe I can mix this with the Lisa, or I can mix the Lisa with one of my Auric shades. There's a lot of cocktailing on deck right now. Had to include those on the list because I've been using them nonstop. And another product that I also purchased during the Sephora sale, not this specific colorway. I purchased this eventually, but I did finally get the Prada eyeshadows. These blew me away. I knew they would be good, but I didn't expect just the performance, the caliber of these shadows, given that they are from a Luxe brand. And I have my assumptions when it comes to Luxe brand eyeshadows. These don't fit that trend. Okay, they stand on their own. I think just the design of the quads are unique. It resembles the Prada logo. You have like the neutral anchor shades and the one fun pop shade from out of the 6 colorways available. And I have videos using Pulse, what you just saw, Poetry, recently Portrait. You will get to see these in action. And I had to include these on the list because I was not expecting to love them so much. And every time I use those palettes, it's a breeze. It's a breeze in how the shadows apply and how they blend, and the color choices that are included in each quad. You can't go wrong. Which leads me, since we're talking about eyeshadow, to speak about what has to be the best, in my opinion, eyeshadow palette release thus far. No other than Byredo's Mineralscapes. This, I have on the eyes. And you know what's so fun about this palette? You see this and you're like, well, what am I gonna do with that? Listen, I applied this color through the crease, but then I applied this on my outer V. Would you have thought that? I don't know. And perhaps you would have assumed, oh, can't do that, it's gonna look gray. Now combining those shades is going to make that more teal blue appear gray. But what it doesn't do is appear dull and flat. It's just a new color. It's just a new color. And I think that's what's so incredible about Mineralscapes, because the colors here are represented in nature. That was the main source of inspiration from Swedish landscape. So you see all colors working together in their natural element, which means you can combine these shades and textures any which way, and all of your looks will turn out beautifully. You don't have to think too hard about what to combine. Is that gonna look right? It's all gonna look right, okay? Because when you have a formula like this, that's just so finely milled, soft, but still is giving shine. Look at my eye. It's still giving shine, it's giving sparkle. There's some that are more dazzly than others. All in all, the experience is seamless. It does not matter what shadow you pick from Mineralscapes. It's going to blend to perfection. It's going to hold your hand. It's going to do the blending for you. And the colors I chose today, they just work together. I didn't stress about what I wanted to combine. Is that going to look right? No, it would all look right, because these shades, the way they were curated, what a well thought out palette. I can't open it. It's cool, it's subtle, but there's soul to this palette. I know I'm talking about eyeshadow, but if you have Mineralscapes, you understand what I'm saying, because you have commented on my video that not only my first video, but another video I used this palette in, you're like, Alicia, I get it. It's better in person. When you get this in person and you actually use it, you're like, oh my goodness. I'm still waiting for Izumiya's 3.0. And I don't know if Pat McGrath's gonna release 13 this year. This is around the time Mothership would come out, just based off evidence. But you know what I would love to see from Mother? And I already discussed this with Hunter. Hi, Hunter. I would love to see a pastel Mothership, an expanded version, a 10-pan version of Fleur Fantasia. That she gotta do it. I mean, she has done everything else. To just not disappoint the public further. If you don't want to go pink, I think if she went Fleur Fantasia pastel, I think that would still satisfy the majority of the makeup audience, because I know they love the pinks, and I guess the Asian market, which is one of their larger markets, adore the roses and such. But if she went pastel, I think that would also cater to a large audience, more so than the grungier colors. Because even though the people were sounding off when Sunlit Seduction released last year and were upset about it, they wanted something more grungy, like a grungier version of Midnight Sun, for instance. If they went Fleur Fantasia, you could get away with shades other than pink, but because they're softer, they're more wearable. Pat did that, and playing with the astral shades, even if she went simple with the astral shades, she could do something more like a light pink overlay or a lilac overlay for the astral formula. Hopefully we could get something baked. Wouldn't it be lovely if she did like a light sagey green in the baked formula? I'm putting it into existence, okay? I'm really trying to manifest here. I'm jumping around a lot because these are in no particular order, but I also wanted to show Suqqu's Cream Touch blush formula. This released in their Touch of Nectar Global Summer collection. One of the best cream cheek products I've ever used. Not only can you apply this on cheeks, but you could also apply this on the lips. This shade in particular, my goodness, in pursuit of that perfect beige shade, but it has enough warmth to it where it does appear like a blush on my complexion. And when I combine it with the Makeup by Mario bronzing serum, or even the Say, stop it right now, or even the Rosy, if I wanted to bring out a little more pink from that cream touch shade, you see what I'm saying? And I know you're wondering about Natasha's Golden. I love Golden, and I stand 10 toes down about how Golden I think is one of her best. Yes, it didn't have the teals, and I'm not going to rant about it again in this video because I've done plenty of times in my previous ones. The reason why I hold Mineralscapes above Golden is simply because there are just more shade options in here. Yes, golden I love because of the colors and how easy it is to use. But you can't go wrong with the palette that has this much variety and is equally as easy to use. And I understand what you're saying. You're like, well, that's why golden sucks because it doesn't have variety, it's monochromatic. I don't mind it because I have Metropolis, I have Bronze, I have other Natasha Denona palettes that is more Mineralscape in vibe, but I had to give it to Mineralscapes because when I saw Mineralscapes for the first time, it was just like, yes, there was no dilly-dallying about making a decision whether I wanted this palette or not. That tells me it has to be in the top favorite, yo. And then when I saw golden, I was excited because I had the original gold. And although golden I didn't start on the best foot, I learned to love that palette. And now having golden in my hands, in terms of the sparkle and the shine, you can't go wrong. But Mineralscapes, I gotta apply more Moisture Glaze, excuse me. Again, Lisa's Tint, have been using the heck out of it. But I also have to mention her Shape and Sculpt pencils. These shades are, I feel I've always been searching for the right lip pencil for my lip color. I do have Pat McGrath's Structure, and I also do love Supernatural, but these have a little more brown in them that I feel just pair beautifully well with any lip balm that I apply with them. And I do like her Balm Embrace. I don't like that there's a weird taste to it, and if it wasn't because I love Sweet Fig so much, I don't think I would have mentioned it as a top favorite compared to the Moisture Glaze. Okay, again, I just hold Moisture Glaze in just the highest regard, and the Balm Embrace I do like. And this shade actually is not quite like Sweet Fig. It has a little more pink in there. I feel it resembles Eponyui a little more. Eponyui is a more cooler mauve, and this has a little more brown in it. But back to the Shape and Sculpt lip pencils, the shades that I have, 2N or 1N, 2N, and 2W, have fared well with several of my current favorite lip products. And again, this is 2N. The shades, something about the undertone, maybe it's because I mentioned this before, is a true neutral. And it's not going to drag down any of the other neutral like shades I have in my collection, especially 2W. It's like the perfect rose, but it's not too pinky red. I've just been combining these with everything, with all the Suqqu glazes, with the Peri Para. I know I didn't mention the Peri Para in this video because my Addiction Tokyo video I think is up by now, and that lip serum tint, I do prefer it over the Peri Para, but I love the Peri Para as well. More than the Moisture Glaze, I think, yes, I know, yes, because even the lip serum tint has a little bit of an odd taste when you apply it initially, but it disappears afterwards. It doesn't linger like the Peri Para water base tint or even the Romand. I do have a Romand product of like the Water Bear. That tastes a little too tutti fruity for me, for my liking. So I much prefer the Addiction Tokyo lip serum tint. But that's gonna have to be for end of year because technically I bought that in July and that's month 7, so not quite halfway there, favorite eligible, but I wanted to mention it because I'm sure you're wondering since I gushed over it in that video. But I think that's it for now. I have to keep track of what I'll purchase from now through December, but those have been my standout items since January. Ones that no matter what makeup I use in my collection, they just have that place, that untouchable S-tier ranking place in my makeup collection. Every time I use these products, it's laughable. It's laughable at how beautiful but easy my makeup is to apply and how it appears between the tools, the formulas, the colors. Everything has just been, what word can I use? Extraordinary. Let me know what your favorites have been for the last 6 months. I will see you down in those comments, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you in here again with another review tutorial and of your favorites. But before that, we gotta check out Suqq's autumn winter collection first. Until then, I'll see you again soon.